Hello folks, I'm back out in the garage again today. You guys might be wondering why I'm making so many videos here in such rapid succession. That's because we've had some pretty decent days. Today is supposed to get up to 60 degrees, but here in the next couple weeks, or next week, it's supposed to get down into the 20s again, and snow and all this kind of stuff. In West Virginia, that's the way it goes. But we've had some pretty nice days, and I want to get out here and get some work done and get some videos posted for you guys. But today, I'm going to be working on this headlight, or the headlight, this gauge lens. Like a big dummy, whenever I painted the truck, I left all the windows open, so the headlight lens, I did it again. The gauge lens has overspray all over it. I'm going to do that, and then I need to make a run to Wally World, pick up some paint. I want to paint the back bumper. I'd like to get it painted and possibly even put on tonight. I don't know if I'll get that far or not. And I'll also pick up the paint for the wheels. I'm pretty sure that in order to do the wheels, I'm going to have to bust them down, because a lot of them have rust on the inside. I don't know how bad it is. The one that I took off on the passenger side front, I'm pretty sure it's pretty rusty, because it sat out there for years with a flat tire. So that wheel is probably going to end up getting thrown away and get replaced. But anyway, I'll start working on this gauge lens and bring you along for the ride. Okay, here's what the gauge lenses look like now. This is with all the overspray on it and stuff. It's dirt and from sanding and stuff like this. And then I, like a big dummy, I tried to clean it off a little bit with some thinner, and it's piled up right there. I think I started melting it. But anyway, I'm going to pull this off, take it inside and wash it, and with some green, some kind of wore out green Scotch-Brite, just like I did for the tail light lenses in the previous video, and see if we can get it at least looking a little better. So I'll bring it back when I get it cleaned and ready to start buffing it. Okay, I got it off. I kind of wish I had some of that paint that you could use for the little dials, but I don't have any of that, so we'll have to revisit this later on. Just to show you guys, this thing says 18,962.2 miles. That is actually 218,962.2. My dad flipped it over twice, so yeah, that's what we got so far. It's pretty dirty, so I'll be trying to clean all that up with a microfiber cloth and maybe a little bit of Windex or something. Not necessarily on the gauges. From what I understand, on the gauges themselves, if you use anything like Windex, it can actually start taking away the numbers and letters. So I'll just wipe that down, being real careful not to hit the needles. And I'll be shopping around for a new gauge cluster, because the perndole, as they call it, the part where when you shift it, is broken down in here. So it doesn't tell you, it doesn't move. And I'd kind of like to get one that has a clock in here, but that's not a big deal. But anyway, that's what it looks like with the gauge cluster lens off. and I'll show you now the actual lens. Okay, with the light on, you can see how milky that is. And we're going to see if we can bring it back. I'll be back in a minute with it cleaned up, and then we'll start the buffing. And I'll set the camera up so that you can watch that. Okay, hopefully you guys can see the difference here. I washed it in hot soapy water with Dawn dish detergent, and then scrubbed it all down first with a magic eraser, and that seemed to take a lot of it off, but it still left some of the overspray on there, especially in this area here where I screwed up and hit it with acetone. It took a lot of that off, but I'm hoping that the buffer will take the rest of it off, or at least make it transparent. And so we'll set you up now, and we'll start with the buffing. I tried to stay away from the back of the lens. As you can see, it's still quite shiny. It was dirty. All I used back there was the magic eraser. So the front side is what got the most of the Scotch-Brite, and I use a Scotch-Brite green, which is supposedly 600 grit. So I'll set you up now, and we'll start working on the polishing, and hopefully I don't break this thing with the polisher, because it's a huge, as you saw when I did the tail lights, it's a huge polisher. I don't have one of those that goes on the drill, but I've seen other fellows do it, so if they can do it, hopefully I can too. I just looked it up, and according to the internet, of course that's got to be correct, right? According to the internet, the magic eraser equates to somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 grit. So as you can tell here, I used this magic eraser on this part of it here, and it's completely clear. So, and there's a lot of stuff right in here, but we'll see what the buffer will do. And what I'm going to do, what I'm using is Marine Restorer and wax. Combines rubbing compound and wax all in one application. It worked really well for the taillights. We'll see how it does here. Pretty thick stuff. So what I'm going to do, spread this around on here. And we'll work with the main problem area first, and then come up here and do these. Wish me luck. I was afraid of that. Caught that. I don't know where it went. Anyway, it is helping. I don't think it broke off anything that I'm going to need. Let me go check the truck real quick. I don't know where that piece went, but it's not something that that is going to impede the use of this thing. You won't even see it underneath the the bezel that goes on over it. So, but it is a lot clearer. Let me get you some natural light. See if you can see that. It is a lot clearer. Even the mess up down here where with the acetone, it left it a little wavy looking, but it is clear. Relatively anyway. I put it up to the gauges and you can actually see the gauges through them, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to try a little bit more. I'm going to trim the thing that flaps around there off and see if I maybe avoid having that happen again. But I'll bring it back when I start buffing again. Okay, I tucked the tied part of this thing. I don't have one that just sticks on, so I tucked it all up underneath here. It seems to be staying. So now we'll put a little bit more of the polish on here. Also, the junk out of the way. And continue on. It would be really nice if I could chuck this thing in a vise, but I don't know if you can see it from there. My vise is not nowhere near big enough to chuck a big polisher grinder thing into it, so I have to do it all by hand. Clean it off with the microfiber. Well, there you are. After buffing, you can clearly read what's behind it. Some of these still look a little foggy, I guess, but it might just be residue from the polish. You can also see, like I said before, you can see a little bit of a, right in there, you see a little bit of a, I don't know what you call it, a contour or something. That's where the acetone melted it. Up there it doesn't do that. But you get down here and but that doesn't seem to impede the use of it at all. So I'm happy with that. I never had to use any sandpaper or anything like that. It may turn out better if you use some 2000 grit, but like I said, that magic eraser is 3,000 to 5,000 grit, and it cleaned it off pretty good just by itself. But I'm happy with what it is. It's 1,000% better than what I had before, and we're going to call it good. Okay, it's on there. I can read everything. That is a good thing. Let's see what happens. Oh, you can't hardly see the lights. I don't even know if the lights on the dash work. It might not even be coming on from what I can tell. I see the light down here coming on, but anyway, so that's a success. It's not bolted down. I'll just take it off and then wipe off the gauges real good with that microfiber cloth, and we'll call this done. Okay, I got it back on, after wiping it down the inside a little bit, not a whole lot. I didn't really want to take it all apart and try to get in there to the gauges and mess something up. So I left it pretty much as it was. I mean, like I said, the bezel will cover most of the other stuff. And so I'm going to call this a win. And I can at least, when I get it running and on the road, I can at least see the gauges. Okay, well, that was a success. Even from there, you can probably see that it's a huge improvement. One might ask, John, why you go through all that? Why don't you just buy a new one? Well, they're over $50 just for a little clear piece of plastic. When you can clean it up yourself, you have to be careful. That stuff's pretty fragile, as you saw. And it caught it and it broke it away here. I don't think that'll even be noticeable with the bezel on. So that's the reason why I go through that. I have a really small budget for this truck, and $50 for that is pretty steep, if you ask me, for something that is probably printed in 2 seconds, you know. But anyway, so I'm going to run to town and get some paint for the back bumper and probably some paint for the wheels. I don't know that I'll get to the wheels before the next cold wave hits, but because I'm going to have to probably take each one of those off and take the valve stem out and all that kind of stuff, and then put the new valve stem in, air the tires back up so that whenever I get this thing running and get ready to put it on the road, I can take it down to the tire shop and get 5 new tires put on it. So I'm gonna call this one done for tonight, and please like and subscribe and let me know what you think about this, cleaning this thing up. Did it help you? I hope so. It really isn't that hard to do, and with different tools it might be a little easier even and a little safer. That big old buffer is probably not ideal for this. Maybe one on a drill would be a little bit easier to handle. But anyway, like and subscribe, and leave me some comments. Thanks for coming along for the ride.